peaceful town of Edgewater, nestled in the shadow of towering mountains and dense forests, a malevolent presence had taken root. The townspeople whispered of a phantom-like figure who moved through the night, leaving a trail of terror in its wake. Dubbed the Phantom Killer by the local media, this elusive serial killer had plunged Edgewater into a realm of fear. Detective Laura Bishop, a woman with sharp instincts honed by years of working in homicide, was tasked with the investigation. Her partner, Detective James Holden, a seasoned veteran, shared her determination to unravel the mystery. Together, they delved into the heart of darkness that had befallen their town. The Phantom Killer's modus operandi was chilling and unique. The victims, all seemingly unrelated, were found in isolated locations, their bodies arranged in a ritualistic manner with eerie symbols carved into their skin. The precision of the killings suggested a deeply disturbed mind with a penchant for theatricality. As the investigation unfolded, Laura and James found themselves entangled in a web of secrecy and madness. Each victim was connected to an old, forgotten legend of Edgewater, a tale of a vengeful spirit haunting the town, seeking retribution for sins of the past. The deeper they dug, the more the fabric of reality seemed to warp around them. The town's history was riddled with dark secrets, long buried but festering beneath the surface. Laura and James uncovered tales of ancient rituals, forbidden knowledge, and a shadowy cult that had once resided in the heart of the forest. Amid their search for the killer, Laura received an ominous warning, a photograph of her own home, left on her doorstep in the dead of night. It was clear that the Phantom Killer was watching, taunting them with his near-omniscient presence. Their breakthrough came when they discovered a series of old journals in the town's archives belonging to a forgotten town historian. The journals spoke of a dark entity, an otherworldly force that the cult had sought to summon. This entity, the journals claimed, would take a human host, compelling them to enact its will. With this chilling revelation, the nature of their adversary became clear. They were not merely hunting a killer, they were up against an ancient, malevolent force that had latched onto a human soul. As the night of the final confrontation approached, a violent storm engulfed Edgewater. Laura and James, guided by the clues from the journals, traced the killer to an abandoned chapel deep in the woods, the site of the old cult's rituals. There, they found the Phantom Killer, his identity revealed as a local townsman, his mind twisted and corrupted by the entity. The chapel was a nightmarish scene, adorned with symbols of dark magic and the remnants of unspeakable acts. In a harrowing battle of wits and wills, Laura and James fought to subdue the killer. As they did, Laura performed an ancient ritual found in the journals, a ritual meant to sever the entity's hold on the human host. With the ritual complete, the chapel trembled, the air charged with an otherworldly energy. The entity, wrenched from its host, dissipated into the ether, its hold on the town broken. The aftermath of that night left deep scars on Edgewater. The Phantom Killer was no more, but the memories of those dark days lingered. Laura and James, hailed as heroes, were forever changed, their eyes opened to the darker mysteries of the world. The tale of the Phantom Killer became a somber legend in Edgewater, a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown, and of the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable evil.
Now the second story.
In the sprawling, rain-soaked city of Greyport, an ominous shadow had been cast. A series of brutal murders had shaken the city to its core, each marked by a chilling calling card, a black rose left on the bodies. The media had named the perpetrator the signs and fearful whispers. At the heart of the investigation was Detective Elizabeth Liz Harper, a tenacious and highly skilled detective known for her uncanny ability to delve into the minds of criminals. Her partner, Detective Aaron Matthews, was a seasoned veteran, his pragmatic approach balancing Liz's intuition. Together, they formed an unstoppable team, determined to end the killer's reign of terror. The Black Rose killer's methods were meticulous and cruel. The victims, diverse in age and background, were found in secluded parts of the city, each scene staged with an eerie precision. The killer's signature, the Black Rose, was always prominently displayed, a morbid symbol of their work. As Liz and Aaron delved into the case, they found themselves drawn into a complex web of deceit and madness. Each clue led them down a darker path, revealing the depths of human depravity and the fragility of sanity. Their first major breakthrough came when they linked the murders to a series of unsolved cases from decades past. These cold cases bore striking similarities to the current killings, suggesting that the Black Rose killer had been at large for far longer than anyone had realized. This revelation led them to investigate Greyport's history, uncovering a twisted lineage of violence and tragedy. The city, it seemed, had always been a breeding ground for darkness, its fog-shrouded streets hiding secrets in every shadow. Amidst their investigation, Liz received a chilling personal message from the killer, indicating that her own history was somehow intertwined with his. This revelation shook her to the core, forcing her to confront her own past, a past mired in tragedy and shrouded in mystery. Their pursuit of the killer took them through the underbelly of Greyport, from the decrepit tenements of the East End to the opulent mansions of the city's elite. They encountered enigmatic figures, each holding a piece of the puzzle, a reclusive artist obsessed with death, a former detective broken by his encounter with the killer, and a mysterious woman who seemed to know more than she let on. As the body count rose, the city descended into paranoia. The Black Rose killer was always one step ahead, his motives as elusive as his identity. The tension reached its peak when the killer orchestrated a series of simultaneous attacks across the city, a display of power that brought Greyport to its knees. In a desperate race against time, Liz and Aaron uncovered the final, horrifying truth. The Black Rose killer was not just a single individual, but a legacy, a mental passed down through generations, fueled by a twisted ideology. The climax of their investigation led them to a grand, abandoned theater where the current Black Rose killer awaited, his identity a shocking revelation that connected back to Liz's own past. The theater became the stage for a final, deadly confrontation, a battle of wits and wills in the presence of the ghosts of all the killer's victims. In the aftermath, as the sun rose over Greyport, the terror of the Black Rose killer had ended. But the scars remained, both on the city and on Liz and Aaron. They had glimpsed into the abyss and come out changed, their lives forever intertwined with the legacy of the killer. The story of the Black Rose killer became a dark chapter in Greyport's history, a cautionary tale of the evil that lurks in the human soul and the enduring strength of those who stand against it. The Black Rose, once a symbol of death, became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope could bloom.
Now the third story.
In the secluded town of Dark Hollow, shrouded in the perpetual gloom of its dense, misty forests, a nightmare had taken root. The townspeople spoke in hushed, fearful tones of a serial killer they called the Whisperer, a phantom-like figure whose presence was as elusive as the fog that blanketed the town. The Whisperer was not just a murderer, he was a harbinger of pure terror, his methods so macabre and sinister that even speaking of them seemed to invite darkness. Detective Emily Stanton, a brilliant but troubled investigator, was brought in to lead the case. Known for her unorthodox methods and her ability to unravel complex criminal minds, Emily's own past was marked by tragedy, a tragedy that had led her to a life chasing shadows. Her partner, Detective Mark Sullivan, a local detective well-versed in the town's lore, was skeptical of the supernatural elements of the case. But as the investigation deepened, even his skepticism was challenged by the chilling evidence. The Whisperer's killings were ritualistic, each victim found in a state of terror so extreme that their hearts had literally stopped. No marks, no violence, just a look of utter horror etched on their faces. The only clue left behind at each scene was a cryptic message whispered into the ears of the victims, a message that drove them to a state of paralyzing fear. As Emily and Mark delved into the investigation, they uncovered a disturbing pattern linking the victims to an old, forgotten legend of Dark Hollow, the tale of a cursed spirit born from the town's darkest hour, seeking vengeance through the ages. Each clue led them deeper into the heart of the town's dark past, through abandoned asylums, long-forgotten graveyards, and ancient forests where the trees seemed to whisper secrets of centuries past. The town itself seemed to be a character in this macabre play, its shadows and silence as oppressive as the fog that never lifted. Amidst their search, Emily began to experience haunting visions and nightmares, blurring the line between reality and madness. She heard whispers in the dead of night, felt eyes watching her from the shadows. The case was consuming her, the whispers slowly unraveling her sanity. In a harrowing journey through the town's history, they discovered that the Whisperer was no mere man, but a manifestation of the town's collective guilt and fear, a spectral entity born from a mass tragedy that had occurred centuries ago. As the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Emily and Mark realized that to stop the Whisperer, they would have to confront the town's past, to face the darkness that had been festering in its heart. The climax of their investigation led them to a decrepit mansion on the outskirts of town, a place where the veil between reality and nightmare seemed to fray. There, in a confrontation as surreal as it was terrifying, they faced the Whisperer in a battle of wills, a struggle for not just their lives, but their very souls. In the aftermath, as the sun finally broke through the gloom of Dark Hollow, the terror of the Whisperer had been quelled. But the scars remained, etched deep in the town's memory and in the minds of Emily and Mark. They had looked into the abyss, and what looked back was something beyond comprehension, a darkness that whispered of the fragility of the human mind and the thin line between sanity and madness. The legend of the Whisperer became a somber tale whispered in the corners of Dark Hollow, a chilling reminder of the unseen horrors that lurk in the shadows of our world, waiting to be awoken.
Now the fourth story.
In the heart of the sprawling city of Nightfall, a series of chilling murders had cast a shadow over its neon-lit streets. The killer, known only as the Marionettist, was a master of manipulation and terror, turning the city into his macabre stage. Each murder was a meticulously crafted scene, the victims posed like puppets, strings attached to their limbs, and a grotesque mimicry of life. Detective Anna Bellamy, renowned for her sharp intellect and unwavering determination, was assigned to the case. Haunted by her own demons, Anna saw in the Marionettist's madness a reflection of the city's darker underbelly. Her partner, Detective Eric Shao, brought a calm and methodical approach to the investigation, often serving as the anchor that kept Anna from losing herself in the darkness of the case. The Marionettist was not just a killer, he was an artist in his own twisted way. Each murder scene was a tableau vivant, a frozen moment of horror and despair. He left cryptic messages at each crime scene, taunting the police, hinting at his next performance. The city, already a labyrinth of shadows and secrets, became a place of paranoia and fear. As Anna and Eric delved deeper into the investigation, they found themselves drawn into a nightmarish world. The clues led them through the city's decaying underbelly, from the squalor of forgotten alleys to the opulence of high society, where decadence and corruption lay hidden behind a veneer of civility. Their pursuit of the marionettist became a descent into madness. Each step forward unraveled more of the city's dark history, revealing a tapestry of violence, madness, and despair that stretched back generations. Amidst this chaos, Anna began to receive personal messages from the marionettist, each one more disturbing than the last. He spoke of her as if he knew her, understood her. It became clear that he was not just playing a game with the city, he was playing a game with her. In a harrowing chase that tested the limits of her sanity, Anna found herself always one step behind the killer. The marionettist seemed to be everywhere and nowhere, a ghost haunting the city's streets. The climax of their hunt was as dramatic as it was terrifying. In an abandoned theater, the final act played out. The marionettist, revealed to be a figure from Anna's past, had orchestrated the entire spree as a twisted performance, with Anna as his unwilling star. In a confrontation that blurred the line between reality and madness, Anna faced the marionettist in a battle of wills. The theater, a mausoleum of forgotten dreams, became the stage for a final, deadly dance. When the curtain fell, the marionettist was no more, but the scars of his reign of terror remained. Anna, forever changed by the ordeal, realized that in hunting monsters, she had to confront her own inner darkness. The tale of the marionettist became a legend in Nightfall, a grim reminder of the abyss that lurks beneath the surface of civilization. In the city's whispering streets, people spoke of that time of fear when a killer had turned the city into his stage and a detective had danced with a shadow to save the soul of Nightfall.